I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Here we go. This is going to be a good one, guys. We've.
That's what you say to all of them.
Well,
They're all
say
good,
that
aren't
a lot,
they?
yeah. Well, they're all great.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
Some are better than others, but I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
It depends
out there.
on you, Toxie, a lot of times. Sometimes if you're
You're going
engaged
to
with
start
us.
off like that. Oh, wow.
Here we go.
Throwing
Just
bullets.
Here we go.
Throwing
On
bullets.
spot.
I guess I sling them enough. I ought to be a good sport, huh?
You sling them pretty regularly.
It's fun.
Lanny, you look very happy today.
Yeah, you know.
He just ate a
good
big
time.
seafood at the local
Had
TBT.
it was
Yeah.
good lunch, and you know it's that time of year, gamekeeping time of year. We're thinking about duck holes. Fawns are dropping.
They are.
You
Yep.
know, so it's a good time.
Gosh, everybody up north is starting to plant food plots.
I can't believe they do that. I mean,
It's
that would be the
time.
kiss of death down here.
Well, it's so dry right
Not
here
just
right
the
now.
heat and the drought, both. It's depressing.
I tell you what, though, the deer are still in the clover fields that we planted, clover plus and non-typical.
Oh, and I'm excited about my mysterious new seed. It's crazy. It's really, really exciting to see how it's holding up in the drought. So
So it is interesting how people up north start about the 4th of July is kind of that little
Kicking
hurdle
it
they
off.
want to get off. And I'm kind of glad it's like that because I don't think we could ship everything in September
That's true.
if
No,
if
that's
we
true.
did.
Oh, that'd
So
be
that,
crazy.
that
oh,
works
God
out
bless
pretty
them.
good.
I remember maybe 10 years ago when I remember talking to Chris Paradise, our head of sales. He lives in northern Ohio, and he was talking about, it was about this time of year in July, and he was talking about, I just got all my clover planted. I said, what? And he said, well, we all up here, we all plant stuff in, July and August.
Yeah.
I said, I couldn't believe it.
He's pretty far north.
Yes.
You know, he's up there with a couple weeks ago we had the duck genetic
He's up where
degradation.
those put ducks.
Yeah, he's up there kind of ground zero for some of that stuff.
Pretty close. I think it's, from what I thought I heard, the ground zero is more eastern than him. He's on just the
They did talk
periphery
about
of
the
it
Great
there.
Lakes area.
Well,
though.
we can make him nervous if we tell him.
Oh, he
to
already
get
is.
ground
Yep. And he, as you know, he already knew a lot about it.
Yeah, he is in the know.
He
on
is
ducks
in the
for
know.
sure.
Yeah, so I'll let everybody know we've got a television episode planned with Dr. Philip Lavretsky that Richie, we met yesterday, and they're going to be down there middle of August. So we'll keep that subject matter. It's very important. We're going to keep that in front of people.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
struck
really
us,
important.
and it struck a lot of our listeners, and so we're going to keep pushing on that. It's a big deal.
With that said, the Gamekeeper Television Show started its annual run a couple of weeks ago, Tuesday
On the
nights,
Outdoor Channel.
9 o'clock Eastern Time.
What is that, Central?
I think that's 8 o'clock Central Time.
Okay,
So you
good,
guys
yeah.
need to watch that. If you set your DVRs, if those things still exist, if you don't get a chance to watch it. But
DVR.
So let's turn around and look at our guest. We're so excited to have Maggie Williams.
In the house.
Woohoo! Thanks for having me.
And we've got Kate.
That's right. She's the first guest to sleep through a Gamekeepers podcast. I mean, how rude.
Well, Mike does it all the time.
Yeah.
So
I
Mike,
Richie. No, Richie.
we have footage of Richie falling asleep during the podcast. So.
She knows we're talking about. Look at that tail. She knows we said her name. Look,
Yeah, she does.
you can leave her here anytime you want to.
I
She
thought
is a good dog.
Oh my goodness.
it looked like I was going to lose her to Toxie for a minute there. She curled up at his feet, and I was like, wow, I know where I stand.
And when she thought about who feeds her every day, and she went back. So.
Yeah, that's right.
So now you're from Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
That's that's one of my favorite states. There's a lot of good duck hunting in Arkansas, as
Yeah.
everybody knows. But you guys, it's a pretty diverse state. You got bears, you got some great whitetails,
That's right.
and I think the turkeys are on the rebound there, Lanny.
Yeah, I hope so.
Isn't that what? Am I correct in that? Because I think they went down for a while.
They went down, and they really stayed down. But I know in western parts of the state, they're improving. But I'm from the east side of Arkansas, and it's still as poor as I can ever really remember on the east side of the state.
Wow.
Is it in a one-bird state?
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Well, it used to be. It used to be like 3 a long time ago.
Hmm.
I thought 2 or 3.
are you an Arkansian? Is that how it's pronounced?
Arkansas.
Arkansan. That's right.
Close, Bobby. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Well,
right.
that's kind of confusing to me.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. What's wrong? What's
Arkansian.
confusing
I
about
don't know.
that?
It's just it's not easy to say. So who would be like the biggest celebrity besides Bill Clinton, if you want to call him a celebrity? But who's the biggest to come out of Arkansas?
Johnny Cash. He's from
course.
Dyce, Arkansas.
Boom.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah, man in black.
Golly, how did I know not that?
You know, he got arrested in Starkville.
He
Sure
sure
did.
did.
Starkville
Did
City
he?
Jail. He had
Yeah,
a song,
yeah,
Starkville
yeah.
City
My
Jail.
dad was at the show when he got arrested.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My uncle from lived in Starkville was at that show too.
Yeah.
Well, everybody in Starkville was at that
Yeah,
show.
I think
Was
so.
it a show or was it a concert?
It was a
concert.
concert back. It was
Yep.
before
He probably put on a show.
Man.
But I
Fish.
think Johnny Cash lovers don't. If I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure someone looked out their window and he was picking flowers out of someone's
Yeah.
flower bed in his underwear.
Yeah.
At like whatever 1 a.m. type thing.
Is that
So-
a problem? I mean, I guess that's something.
Yeah.
You're not supposed
Well,
to
I
do.
mean,
I mean, you do it all the time, but
think about how much trouble it is.
It's more rural.
Yeah, someone was picking my zinnias out there in the backyard. I'd
Especially if they're in the drawers.
Yep.
So, I was expecting you to say Johnny Cash, but I also thought she might say Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell is an Arkansas boy. That's right.
There's a bunch of them.
I was curious to see who you would say.
Bobby's a little arrogant because he's from Alabama, the state. And so,
great
he
state.
thinks everything, the center of the universe is the state of Alabama still.
No, that's Arkansas. Arkansas is the center of the universe. That's the promised land.
You take a back seat on ducks for sure.
There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
What a great state, though. Y'all got a lot of good things
Yeah,
going
lots
on.
of natural
yes,
stuff
we
going
do.
up there.
And when you talk about Arkansas, I just think about these like Biomeda and some of those great public land areas that guys have all this access to. And the state of Arkansas has done such a great job of managing them. And now it's kind of backing up, trying to learn from maybe some mistakes that were made early on. But I think people are trying to do the right thing, Maggie. From what I hear, they're trying.
It's got to be controversial.
Oh, my face is getting red already, boys. Yeah. I grew up hunting public land in northeast Arkansas. That's a slippery slope, boy. But I've really enjoyed the state's resource, and I've been blessed to have access to that. I've been really spoiled. I didn't realize as a kid how lucky I was to have access to it. Now that I'm an adult, it's very humbling to realize.
What city are you from?
I'm from the big city of Piggott, Arkansas. As Ernest Hemingway said, the only place more beautiful than Paris, France was Piggott in the fall.
Pig
Really?
in the fall.
Wow.
That.
Right.
There must be some hills there,
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was thinking.
Yep, it's in Crowley's Ridge, which is the only line of hills in the Delta.
Big deer on Crowley's Ridge now.
I know about that. Sure
Don't
do.
be telling lies on this podcast
No, that's
now.
what I'm talking about. She's covering her tracks already.
So, Bobby, I mean,
That's good dirt.
Yeah,
somebody been duck hunting there from here. Did you go on that trip?
With me. Now I get left out.
The good doctor had a place over there. I didn't go.
By the way, Maggie, he's going to ask you to take him duck hunting before this is over with.
Deal. I'll be there
There you
all
go.
60 days. So
There you
whenever
go.
you get ready, I will be there.
There you go.
This
That
is
wasn't that
moving
hard.
on up.
I hunt every day. I no longer live in Piggott. I live in my family's duck camp that my dad and Papa built. So I live on the river, and as long as the water's up, I'll keep my boat tied to my back porch year round. So
Wow.
Come on.
Bobby.
that? So-
Yep.
Is there a bunch of boys chasing after you?
not good ones usually, but yeah, sometimes.
Yep. So I think after hearing that story where she lives,
Yeah.
yep. we
It's
call it
hard to deny.
Not good ones.
Dream girl. Well, Bobby raised
None of 'em are
Bobby
good.
raised one a little bit like you. I'd say she loves to put them on the ground too.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
does.
Jessie, she's a great girl.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Well, where do we start this thing? We just like to learn a little bit about you, but I would like to understand your journey, or we would like to understand your journey to being a hunter and what it
Absolutely.
means to you and how it became that. And I tell you what, I'm just real impressed with your relationship with your dad and how you mentioned that a lot. And the way I came to learn about you, Toxie showed me a video, and I hadn't seen this, where you gave the lady, Miss Gail, camp.
Camp, that's right.
Gave her that video of you giving her that dog. So it made most of us. Toxie got a tear in his eye.
Oh, yeah, we all did.
It was hard not to.
The fifth time I showed someone, I still got a tear in my eye. So.
Yeah.
I still cry watching it.
Yeah, you get a lump in your throat seeing that. That was just so
Yeah,
thoughtful.
I mean,
Thank you.
honestly, if people out there haven't seen that, they're cheating themselves not to see that. It is
Yeah, where can they
possibly
go see
the
that?
most thoughtful thing I've ever seen, or right at it.
Wow. Thank you, Toxie. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. If you can search the Maggie Williams, you can find it. But it's Miss Gail. I was really blessed to meet her. She was a guest on my podcast. I think I found Miss Gail because Cuz Strickland actually had shared a video of her.
Yeah,
That's right. Yep.
And that's how I found her. And I reached out to her daughter. I did some little FBI snooping, and I called her daughter's place of work, actually. And I said, your mother is incredible, and I would love to interview her. When can I come meet her? And she said, you can come tomorrow. So, and I lived in Jonesboro at the time, which is an hour from Memphis. So I packed up, drove to Memphis, and I interviewed Miss Gail for my podcast. And while I was there, she was just, starstruck.
So
over
at the
Kate.
time, how old was she then? 98, 6?
I'm sorry?
How old was she at the time?
She's 98.
So that was what, a year ago?
Yep.
So she was 97.
Look
Keep
at
that in mind.
Toxie. Look at Toxie.
Toxie
Did y'all
knows.
see how
It's
he
just,
did that math?
it's just in
He's
amazement.
quick.
Oh, and I mean,
I just want people to understand what she's telling us right now.
I mean, she can throw a high ball. I mean, like
She
the best
can?
of them. Yes.
Well, she just got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Alongside of, Cuz getting another award and some other stuff.
That's right.
Mr. Bill, I think.
It's a great story. So guys should go listen to that. But that's how that's how I started paying attention. And
Well, you got to let her. You'll see it anyway. The trouble you went to get her the dog, you just have to let her talk about that too, because it's amazing the persistence she stayed on it.
Well, I was really lucky. It worked out perfect. It was a blessing. It was the good Lord is what it was, because she was just doting over Kate and cried when we left, and she was a handler of golden retrievers all her life. A woman that blows a duck call and runs a golden in the woods. I can respect that. We got a lot in common. And I just thought, man, if I was 98 years old and I didn't have a dog that I'd like, I'd like someone to bring me one. And so I got on Facebook and I got in this field golden retriever group. But anyway, long story short, I had posted I was looking for her a dog, and I was willing to pay for one at this point. And I met a breeder, and she said, hey, I've got a mama dog, and she's retired. She's a house pet. Come get her. Wow. And I was like, well, thank you so much. And, I shared again in the Facebook group, just thanking everybody for their kindness, helping me connect with this woman. And another man was like, hey, I'm from Iowa, and, you're a long way from West Nebraska. I'll bring this dog to meet you in Kansas City. I said, sold. Mm-hmm. So I went to Kansas City and got the dog and brought her to Matt Ryan in Oxford, Duck Dog Vet, got her shots, and brought her to Gail.
That's awesome.
wow.
It's incredible.
Awesome.
You're just in the response. I don't know how we tell them how to find it, but they should watch it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You'll cry. I cry every time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, Miss Camp, what I read about her was that she started duck hunting so that she could spend more time with her husband.
Yep.
Right.
And they would hunt 60 days a year, and she would go all 60.
Wow.
And then she ended up winning the Women's World Championship. Is that right?
That's correct. I think twice.
I think that's what I read too. There's only been one female that's won the World Championship.
Oh no, you're gonna ruin my trivia question.
Oh, well, no. Okay, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
We'll leave that alone. But,
Bobby.
but I was.
I'm glad you know the answer.
Yeah.
What are we winning?
He's really
What are we
good.
going to win today?
Okay, so let's circle back around here. But so
We could talk about it if you want to.
well, I was just kind of
He's on his heels now.
by this Miss Camp and her. I just loved her story.
Oh, it's great.
About wanting to go
Yes.
hunting.
Yeah, she told me the story about how the first time she went hunting because her husband got hurt. He got poked in the eye by a stick and he couldn't drive himself home, and he went hunting by himself most days. And she's like, "Well, that's unacceptable. Get me a gun and I'll go with you." And the rest was history.
And then I read where she was sitting in between two guys, and she started blowing the duck call, and it ended up being better than any of the other guys. and one thing led to another. It's just a really interesting story.
It is. It is. She's an angel among us. She's one of the kindest souls I've ever met. And at 98 years old, she is sharp as a tack and hysterical. She's so funny.
Crazy. That's incredible. I bet you've had to dodge around a few male egos in the duck blind as good as you can blow a duck call.
Well, you are not telling a lie, Toxie. But I was blessed. My daddy took real good care of me and included me, and he taught me how to blow a duck call young. But yeah, the male ego is a fragile thing.
She nailed that.
Especially in the duck
We know
blind.
anything about that.
I'm telling you, over many years of that, the male ego is fragile on his sound of his duck call and his dog.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could, and maybe third, but a distant third is like, his shooting.
Turkey calls are in there somewhere too.
I'm just talking about ducks.
Calling,
Just don't
yeah.
even talk about
That's-
turkeys. We don't have enough time.
Yeah, we
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't blow a duck call on the blind. If I got Lanny, I'll just say, Lanny,
I'm Bobby's duck call.
I've actually, I've never heard Bobby blow a duck call all the years I've
Really?
taken him.
that one
growing
he
up in
had.
Alabama.
No, when Primos had the little shaker call,
Yeah, Bobby did have a shaker.
he was pretty good at that.
I've got some in the truck, Bobby. I'll bring them in here after the podcast. I'd love to hear you blow it.
Yeah, we'll video
you
it for the
wouldn't.
show
No, you
part of this, and you
That
can.
would be fun.
She can blow a duck call, and you can blow one right.
We should have a contest.
Yeah, I'm in.
contest.
We should have a contest.
If it would,
Price is
if
wrong,
it,
Bobby.
Play that one again.
The price is wrong, Bobby.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that is.
Yes.
Happy Gilmore.
Well, it's got your name in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
So, all right, let's circle back. Let's get back serious.
There we go.
And let's
We're
learn
having
little
a
bit
call
about you.
contest when this is over. with.
So, are you in college right now?
Technically, yes. I've got 3 more classes and I'll be done at Arkansas State University. But I did pause my education this turkey season. I was having too much fun. I said I'll finish these classes once I'm done
I
traveling.
can appreciate
I
that.
can't. What's their mascot? It's a cool name, though.
Go Red Wolves!
The Red Wolves. Okay.
Yeah.
Red Wolves.
See, I was hoping she would say she was a Razorback, and I wanted to get her to call the Hogs.
Oh, the
so.
Sioux.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm from East Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's a different state.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas State. It seems like a lot of the coaches
Yep.
end up there and then come back
Or
to
Ole
the
Miss.
SEC.
Ole Miss too.
Yeah.
State
It's been
and
a
Ole Miss
bunch.
both, yep.
Auburn. You
Yep.
know, Gus came from
Yep.
Arkansas State.
Is it football season?
It's almost football season.
Auburn really is a pipeline because this Freeze came from Arkansas State, and then he went to somewhere else, and then he's at Auburn now.
How about that?
How about? Yeah, there's a pipeline back and forth.
See these people? When the clock strikes 5, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. They have to do these things. They have to do those things. Enter the all-new LS Tractor MT2 and MT2E, a relentless force of innovation. Redesigned with a new hood and cab built for comfort and visibility, with enhanced lifting capacity to get the job done. Making these people the ones everyone else calls those people. Visit your local LS Tractor dealer today.
Moultrie has pioneered the game management category. Today, Moultrie is one of the best-selling brands of feeders and seeders in the world, and they continue to innovate with new technology that gamekeepers will rely on. Moultrie products are always field-tested and designed for hunters by hunters, combining forward-thinking innovation with time-tested practicality. Moultrie, first in feeders since 1979. All right, so guys, Moultrie is offering our listeners a 15% site-wide discount at MoultrieFeeders.com. Use code Mossy Oak with a capital M, Mossy Oak, at MoultrieFeeders.com and get that 15% discount. So let's continue on down this road of learning about you. So how did you just? I mean, you make a living now in the outdoor industry. How did that all that happen?
That's a long, crazy story, but we never really thought it'd ever come to fruition of anything. You know, my dad had 2 daughters, and I was the second born, and my sister just obviously took a liking to my mama right away, and so my mom's hands were full of my sister, and I became my dad's best friend. And all my life, you know, I'd ride with him in the tractor in the buddy seat, or I'd ride with him in his work truck, and that eventually just led to in a duck boat. And I begged him to buy me waders for probably about a year, and he was just like, "Man, I don't know, you know." Flooded timber is a harsh place to bring a little girl. Public flooded timber at that. I mean,
Yes, it's
we don't
dangerous.
have blinds, we don't have heaters. I mean, you sit on a tree. And so he got a dog stand for me and set me up on the dog stand. And I don't even remember at this point if we killed ducks that day or not, but I remember I had the best time of my life. I thought it was so cool. I loved the boat ride with him. And I remember we went to the McDougal store. If you're from Northeast Arkansas, you know the McDougal store. It's the best gas station in Northeast Arkansas. Okay. And he got me a Snicker bar on the way in. And I thought, if I can eat Snicker bars at 4 o'clock in the morning, this is my new favorite hobby. And so he just thought I'd be done after that. And I said, hey, when we going back? And I kept going with him ever since.
How about that?
It reminds me of the energy from that. When I told the story about first time Daddy ever took me turkey hunting, and in the black dark in the middle of the Mobile River swamp. I mean, it was close too, and it was like, oh my God, it was like I was touched with a magic wand or something.
Yeah.
It was, but you know, the same thing that made me remind, just being there with him was enough. You know, having to sit at home all that time and hear about it, and then finally get to go.
Oh yeah, and those trips to the store when you're young. I mean,
Oh, my gosh.
That's when my kids, so young. You were there with Wilkes, but yeah, going to the store at dark and picking up, get to eat whatever you want before you go to campus. Fun.
Or on the way back in. Too.
Or on the way back, yeah. Or with my kids,
Daniel
anytime you
good.
get a
Daniel,
chance, all the time.
hour or two into a hunt, it didn't matter what was going on. Might be a turkey real close. Dad, we're eating when we get there.
That's what I say now.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, do you still get to spend much time hunting with your dad?
So my daddy, he hauls dirt for a living. And so all my life, he'd work like a dog throughout the summertime. But in the wintertime, that was our time. So if during wintertime, if he's not working, we've had a couple dry years, unfortunately for the ducks, but fortunately for the dirt haulers.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked a little bit late in the season last year. But
Yes. A lot like farming, you got to make hay while the sun shines.
That's right. What my daddy says. You got to make the hay while the sun shines. But yeah, if he's not working, he'll help me anytime he can. But
And that's another great job for people that like to hunt in the winter or, when it's wet.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
perfect. I mean,
Yes.
we're always thinking of that kind of
Right.
stuff. But I think duck hunters have that figured out probably better than most turkey hunters.
I think Dudley's trying to find him figure
Dirt
out what
hauling
another
job.
job is so he can hunt a little bit more.
Yeah.
would you like me to see if Williams Land Leveling is hiring Dudley?
Yeah.
We would.
He's a fine driver.
I don't know if he
Safety.
can get his
He's an
CDL.
excellent driver.
He's an excellent driver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never had a wreck.
We could send a
Uh-oh.
resume.
Okay. Wow. Resume.
Well, they
He's-
sure are eager to get rid of you, Dud. I don't know about that.
I'll still come back here to work. We had a guy in the duck camp who was an insurance salesman, and he just had all of his clientele, his book of business. They just knew not to bother him during duck season.
I bet.
And he lived at the hunting camp the whole duck season.
Well, the thing different then and now that you can do it, and with cell phones, change your life.
Yeah.
That's right.
Tethered.
You don't have to be sitting at a desk, thank goodness.
You know that you're saying you're hunting public land over there. The couple of times when I first started at Mossy Oak, so this would have been like in 97, 98, there was a guy named Johnny Mafouz and I got to go over there and hunt with him. And I'll never forget it, but there were so many people at the boat landing, and it was so it was like racing down this little narrow canal.
Better get
That's
there early.
right.
That's
Is it still like that?
It's worse. It is debatably worse. And I've been really good about not, posting what public land I enjoy just because it's so sacred to me. But I don't know, some changes in the state, I might come out and kind of advocate for my home. But it's been so publicized that there are kids from all over, which I'm pro out of stater. I think it's great for our economy. It's great for the ducks. When that money goes back into Arkansas wetlands, I'm pro out of state hunter because I'm out of state turkey hunter everywhere I go. Mm-hmm. But that being said, there are kids from all over the southeast that you will see lined up at the boat ramp. I mean, 100 boats in line that day before season, and there'll be boys in line a week before season, and we'll all let me phrase that. They will typically pay a high school kid who's on school break or willing to miss school to wait in line a week before so they have the first spot.
A hole runner, if you
Well,
will.
they're more of a hole keeper. They're gonna keep that
Place
spot
a
in line.
place keeper, yeah.
They're just keeping a spot in the parking lot.
You got to have a boat
Okay.
in line. You
That's
can't
crazy.
just have a truck in line.
How far ahead of time to get your spot in the parking lot?
I think last year was like 11 days.
I had heard some of them were. Seems like I heard from Neil or one of them talking about how they shut down the parking lot and blocked it off. You couldn't even wait at the parking lot till like midnight or something like that the night before. But who knows?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, duck hunting's hot even here. I mean, the boat ramps are packed everywhere.
Yeah,
And on
you
the
know that's the
public
one thing that breaks my heart about. I wish there was more access because it's so much fun and so
it is a finite
popular.
resource.
But then it's great access to it is kind of channeled into that. The public places we have, it's tough for people. I'm like you. We want everybody to be able to enjoy it, and if it's crowded, so be it. Who would we leave out? I mean, I'm for everybody, but the only thing I draw a line on is when you disrespect the resource. I mean, it's one thing to disrespect other people there. I know there's kind of rules of engagement in a lot of the public turkey hunting, deer hunting. There's all kind of, there's kind of a accepted protocol with people who have to hunt there. Mm-hmm. But when you disrespect the resource, man, I'm sorry.
That's how you lose it quick.
I swear I'll lose you right there. I don't care who you are.
That's how you lose
sorry.
it. I carry a trash bag with me every time I hunt. I cannot stand seeing trash
Oh, me neither.
or hunting with somebody that leaves trash. Whew, leave it better than you found it, always.
There you go.
So is it dangerous at these boat ramps when they blast off? Do they have to wait till a certain time, like 4 o'clock, before they can leave?
It really yes and no. It's hard to say. It's all subjective on where you're hunting. I mean, technically you can't be on WMA. You can be on the river, anytime you would like. So the second you cross that levee, I mean, there are some places that have slough boat parking, and you can't take off in your slough boat until 4 o'clock. If you're in a channel, you can't go through the gates until 4 o'clock. It's all really subjective on where you are in the state and what you're hunting. But yes, statewide takeoff time to race is 4 o'clock.
Wow.
I remember we had a hole runner when I went with this guy. So we pulled up into this hole, and this guy, he was laying there in the boat, and then he left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure did.
Yep.
Collected his
it's
check.
it's world-class hunting, and I can't blame the people for wanting to do that.
Me neither.
because
Absolutely.
it's so good.
Absolutely.
It's,
I agree with you.
it's just tough. I mean, in Mississippi in the 90s, it was really, really good where I hunted, and it had public all around it that was really, really good, and that's faded. And,
Yep.
so
Well,
we've
it's-
got more people going to less area now.
I think probably, I don't know this for sure, but probably what's putting more pressure on is that we are getting less ducks to migrate
That's
all the way this
exactly
far
right.
south.
That's
so
right.
it's, everybody gets a little ornery, and I get that. So still, I mean, there's just no excuse for breaching your whatever, call it integrity for the sport. Number one, for safety of any type, but
right.
the resource. And then after that being, it's just hunting. It's the coolest thing ever to have a lifestyle. You get to enjoy it, but we all just run it when we cross that line. Look, we're all guilty of it one time or another, having a short fuse about hunting this or hunting that in my spot or shot my duck or whatever. But there's really no place for it. And I just can't imagine how bad I hadn't had to do that a lot. It's kind of like my cup of tea. I'd rather go maybe not kill many ducks and be on something private of my own. But I can't imagine what it's kind of free for all it's like when tempers flare too much.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah,
got to
those
be
horror
awful. It's
stories.
got to be awful. Surely you've seen some of that.
Yeah, and I tell boys all the time, that are my age, being hot-headed, you think it doesn't affect anybody, but I promise you, whenever the Game and Fish Commission has a meeting, they got a big old whiteboard, and they're clicking through slideshows saying, this is what happened on this date with these boys. We had 50 people in a duck hole fighting. We had someone get shot on this reservoir on this day.
Wow.
It makes a difference, and they know what's going on. They know about the violence. They know about the whenever people decide to act ignorant, and it only hurts us as hunters. So I mean,
Yeah, it
your
only takes
actions
one
do
to give
ha-
everybody a black eye.
It takes one. So our actions do have consequences, and we need to be on our
Yeah.
best behavior. It's a privilege to be there. We need to act like it.
I've heard of duck blinds getting set on fire and all
Oh,
that.
yeah, no doubt. I got horror stories.
I've heard of a couple of our friends
Oh, yeah,
fights
physical
over
altercations. There's all kind of stuff that's
Yep.
happened out there.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
That's
So,
sad.
yeah, don't let it control you that much.
Dudley, you got a question for her?
Well, this may be off subject, but I'm good at that. I mean, I know you love turkey hunting and duck hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any hobbies outside of that, or you kind of got your eye on a new hobby, or
As much as I like to turkey and duck hunt, I can't afford any more hobbies, Dudley. I can't afford it. I turkey hunted in 14 states this year, and
man?
I'm planning my summertime hobbies are planning my states for next spring.
There you go. Well,
But-
that's a hobby in itself, right there.
I like to run my dog, I like to run my boat, and spend time with my family in summertime. Go to church when I can because I travel a lot, in the spring and wintertime. But yeah, I like to hibernate in the summer if I can.
That's good. Good answer.
So is your favorite thing hunting ducks in the timber?
That's the only way to hunt ducks. That's the way God intended to hunt ducks.
I like that answer.
Yeah, no
Bobby,
doubt
you got
about
to bear with this.
Hey, there's
He's from
nothing like it, I'll
Alabama,
tell you that
and
much.
even here. So God intended us to hunt ducks any way we can find some ducks to hunt.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I may not act that way, but I agree with what you're
It
saying.
is definitely the way. It's the most fun.
It is.
And in our
No question.
flyway,
Yeah.
most of those places that aren't timber were timbered ducks at some time.
You're right.
Well, look, in defense of people that don't live in Arkansas, in Alabama, if you had, we shot wood duck roosts.
Oh,
we
yeah,
try
I
to be
know.
That's how
legal
we
about
all
it,
got
but you
introduced to
wanted
it.
to go duck hunting.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
I think all the people, I know so many people from Alabama, dads from Alabama. We got a place over there. We got so many friends. Their thing, their prestige among all things hunting wise, was that I got a lease in Arkansas.
That's right.
That's the thing. People from Alabama, they don't even touch down in Mississippi a lot. That's like
Georgia too. Yeah.
But a lot of that was like ag fields or rice fields. So some of that, a good bit of those leases.
Well, the
not a
private
big-
flooded timber thing is so much more limited.
Yeah.
And hard to come by, quite
I mean,
honestly.
there's not
'cause,
much private.
yeah, it's
bottomland
so easy
hardwoods.
to
It's
have
all
leftover
public.
ag that you can flood because of all the rice farming.
Lenny, I had to tell you, hunting with you, you've got your phone in your pocket. You're constantly checking Onyx.
Yep. Very valuable key features all in those things. It really is. From the compass mode to recent imagery, I mean, it really helps you understand where you are spatially, where you're headed, where a turkey is, where he was. It's a heck of a tool to use in the spring woods.
I didn't realize that they're updating these maps every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'd have never known about that clear cut that you were hunting if I didn't have that recent imagery.
Well, and you could share some waypoints with me.
I could share some points with you. You're exactly right.
I mean, it has that
It
capability.
does have that sharing capability, which is great. You're wanting to show me where your goblin turkeys are.
Oh, man. Onyx, it's a great app.
It's a great app.
So guys can go to onyxmaps.com/hunt and use code Mossy Oak to get 20% off.
There you go.
I'm a big fan of Onyx.
I am too.
So let me circle back. When I started asking you about how some of the management areas have been managed, you kind of looked at me like, ugh. Have there been problems? Are there things that need to be looked at in your opinion? Now, we're just asking your opinion.
Whew, where do I start? Well, I think right now there's a place very close to my heart, and I think the state is looking to make some big decisions, cutting levees out. It's not really necessary. The water table in Arkansas has changed. It'll never be the same. So keeping water off the trees in November through January, how can that be a priority whenever we've got water on the trees in May, June, July?
Right now, I saw somebody on Instagram at a particular place. It was full pool, and it's mid-July.
Got to get it off.
It was
of
full
there.
pool in my backyard. I mean, I can go to the levee right now, my favorite place to duck hunt. And I mean, it's higher water than we duck hunted all year. In some places, I mean, right after the big rain.
Yeah,
Man, I wish you'd pump some over here.
Yeah, they won't stand much of that.
No.
But-
And it'll change the dynamic of the species that are in there too. Am I right, Dudley?
Totally.
Yeah, and I think they recognize, losing a lot of those red oaks,
So
even
important,
back
the
in the
small
late
acres.
60s,
Yeah.
and starting to learn and research about it.
Yeah.
Some areas they're doing a really good job at managing that, and some places they're doing a terrible job.
That's what my sermon. You can't
but
be so hyped up about your hunting that you destroy the resource, and that includes trees just as much as ducks.
and
The
there's
ducks are there
there's
because of the
different
trees.
opinions, and like the farmers may want something different than the hunters, and so there's a lot of different opinions out there. It's hard to.
Let's change that water table that you referred to.
Well, the state of Arkansas, that Clearwater Lake is what feeds the water into where I love to hunt the most. But that water table changed whenever they built, Norfolk Lake, Clearwater Lake. Well, they're man-made lakes. And so it's not the state of Arkansas that can control that water, but once those lakes were built, that's what affects it now. So it's the Corps of Engineers' problem, not the state. But the state can't. The Corps of Engineers is not working with the state for the sake of our duck hunting, the sake of our trees. That's not their goal. So, if I was, I'm not the most, I guess.
Flood control, flood prevention. There's a lot of different things.
It's a lot of different things. But, I mean, if I had all the answers, I'd be on the commission myself. But I do. It's really hard to say we're going to try to keep water off the trees in December whenever there's water on them all year long. I wish I had the answer, but I don't. But I don't think cutting levees is the answer either.
Yeah, Dudley knows more than I do. But if you can't keep the water off the trees in the summer, it won't matter what happens in the winter.
Exactly.
Before
Not
long.
really.
No.
They're dormant in the wintertime,
that's right.
So summertime, Dudley, will that kill trees? The water
Oh
staying
yeah,
on them?
yeah. When they're, yeah. I mean, when
It's
there's-
interesting, Dudley, describe to people about what actually happens too. And that's a little bit off topic, but you may not know this. Water standing on a species that can't stand it for long enough, it all of a sudden, I don't think it's because it gets flooded. That tree actually just turns everything off and dries up.
Yeah, it's really
doesn't it?
no different than not having any water.
That's right. It's like they
They've got to
starved
have
to death.
oxygen
Yeah.
to be able to drink, to get that straw flowing.
Yep.
That goes from the ground to the top of the tree where the water escapes out of the leaves. And it, once it's just like a human. I mean, we can't survive underwater for very long either.
No, got to get that breath.
So while cypress trees and overcup oaks and button willows and things can handle that,
Not all.
most trees can't.
Yeah.
Typically, if it's a wet spot naturally over time, it will evolve to wet species that can stand more of that.
That's because it's killing out the
you
other
start
species,
flooding stuff that's not used to having its feet wet at all. You've got to be really careful and just
Well, I trusted that Arkansas is working on this and working on the Ducks' behalf, and there's got to be people that care. And I've heard Jim Ronquist speak to this a pretty good bit, so I think people are.
He'll be in the know.
Yeah, I think it's somebody's working on this. Hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Well, the day I heard the proposal, I called my state representative, and I've called him every week since. I mean, I'm not a political person, but when it comes to duck hunting,
You're persistent.
But
I'm calling.
You know, you got people that have a house on the Little Red River wanting to go trout fishing in the summer, and they want water. You know, I think it was 2 summers ago I walked across it, and never got deeper than my knees.
Wow.
And so there's so many different people that are trying to, recreate in different ways. And lately, the duck people have been getting the shaft.
Well, I'll just jump in real quick. Look
at that, Richie.
Dr. Osborne is actually
I like this.
as part of we've talked to Dr. Osborne
Yeah.
about they're doing research on this right now. They're conducting it, and I think working Arkansas, Monticello with the state, and so they are in the process of working on what's the best process. What they need to do. For the water and the trees, and they're working on that right now.
You got to give them their space though, because if something goes wrong and you're flooding some kind of fields, or hey, you fix that in a year's time, you kill 100-year-old trees.
Yep.
You're done.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not ever get it back again because you killed off what was dropping that seed. It is so fragile and so precious when you start talking about big and old trees that you better give it some space, hunting or no hunting. Seriously.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so before we leave, I want to move to turkeys, but I want to ask you. So we're going to let you answer.
Are y'all going to let me answer a question? Ask a question.
Ask
today?
a question.
And
So
thank you.
I just want to say, so if you like flooded timber, you like leaning up against that tree, wearing bottomland, and you like killing greenheads.
That's right.
So if a wood duck comes flying in there, you're probably not even messing with him.
Whoo, it's another slippery slope, but I will say this is just the way I was raised. My dad said everyone needs to follow their own moral compass, and so mine is no, not because I'm saved the wood ducks, but because it's polite for your neighbor. If we're trying to finish 100 mallards and someone is shooting 5 wood ducks next to me, that messes me up. You come to Arkansas to shoot mallards in the flooded timber. That is the entire attraction to the state. If you want to shoot wood ducks, you can do that at home, in a ditch, anywhere, truly.
Dang.
So,
There you go, Bobby.
Dang, that's pretty rough right there.
So to be polite, it's bad manners.
I'm fascinated with all these regional unofficial
that's
rules. I
love a wood duck.
We're going to talk about turkey hunting in a minute. I was raised that using a decoy was a cardinal sin.
Yeah, it still is.
But
for me.
That's
you might talk to somebody that lives in the Great Plains where there's no trees, and it might be a different story.
So my dad didn't grow up with a lot he duck hunted some, but he was in Alabama, and they might jump some wood ducks in the river swamp in the winter when he was trying to find a deer or something and shoot a few. So, whenever we would, especially Daniel Neal coming on, it's like, Papa, don't shoot. Some greenheads are working. Don't shoot the boom, boom. And he would just shoot whatever, mergants or something that came by. It wasn't even a wood duck.
Yep.
And anyway, I can't say all the words. They're a little colorful, but he said, son, you got to understand, to your papa, a duck's a duck.
Is a duck.
Yeah.
I've heard that one too.
And he was just like, he would go to Louisiana with his friends and they shoot teal. And he was just as excited shooting that as a mallard coming in. He was raised differently. Now, to me, there's nothing like, obviously, what she says, the mallards in the timber.
Sure. They're beautiful.
But on that note, though, I did want to mention it's only bad manners on public land. If you've got a private wood duck hole in Arkansas, light them up, boys. I love to eat wood duck, and my dad always said, if you want to shoot one, you can get one to mount. You can get one to hunt. Like that, you're allowed one. I mean, one a season. I'm sorry, one a season, and then you're done.
I think they're the most delicious of all ducks to eat. My biggest temptation.
They are delicious.
They are so good to eat, even better than mallard.
Beautiful too.
You make a great point. There's already people hunting close together. So you may have a group that's 300 yards away, which is close, and you take a pop shot at a wood duck. They may be working some mallards. So
right. I mean,
you probably want to take Bobby off that invite list.
Bobby, I will let you
He's
get
kind
one
of
wood
a
duck.
duck's a duck guy.
I can be trained.
But he gets starry-eyed over something rare, like a canvasback or even a pintails. Y'all have a lot more, but we have a few here. He will get starry-eyed over something a little bit rare.
I get that. I mean, a black duck.
I think he hunted
I love a black
duck.
three seasons in a row, sitting in a John boat trying to kill a canvasback.
Yep,
Hey,
he was.
Look right here on the wall,
behind
buddy.
you.
Try. They're right here.
I'm sure he skillet shot him. And
Hey, whatever it takes.
Those are really expensive ducks. I can tell you that.
Did the pellets ricochet and hit a barge across from you?
No,
That's where I'm hunting.
Dudley, they did. So, Lanny, you had a question.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna wind up the duck conversation and move on to turkeys, I mean,
we'll never stay talking about ducks. Come on.
I mean, that's what he was saying. So that's where I was.
Go
going.
ahead with your duck question.
J frame or cut down?
Cut down.
There it is.
I'm
There
from
we go.
Arkansas, boy.
Hey,
I
can't-
had to ask.
What do you
I'm
run?
J frame.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
It's okay.
My daddy blows a J frame.
Yeah,
But,
I'm older,
right. Well,
Yeah.
I like a PSO cut
Do you?
good.
Yeah,
I got one for Jim Ronquest if he'd ever do me that favor. He told me he would. I need to call him.
Now I've been working on the cut down. It's just a little bit different. So
that's
Yeah.
all I can blow.
the cut down.
And when she said cut down, I decided to catch myself. I was going to say, a man after my own, no, a gal after my own heart.
Yeah.
I don't like how I sound with anything else.
Me either.
Y'all have seen me. I have the same call for 25 years.
Yeah, you have. And it's not a traditional cut down.
What is it?
It's a cut down. That's what it was
it's
called.
a very
cut down call.
short, wide call. You need to look at it.
Yeah, and it's in the reed is maybe not even a half inch from your lip when you're blowing it.
Yeah, it's
Or
about
less.
that
It's right
long.
there.
I've never seen one like it. This is the only one I've
We had
ever
them in the
seen.
store. We had them in the store, and Bob Dixon had brought them in as a.
What brand and model?
It was
is it?
called cut down calls.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that was.
So you're running a call when you're out there.
Always.
If somebody said you can't take a call, you don't. I'm guessing you don't want to go.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason for me to go if I can't blow my duck call. That's,
Well,
not fun.
That's the fun of the timber because you can all call and it's not hurting anything. It's probably helping anything.
That's right.
That's what's hard for me when I take people and we're out in the wide open. It's like
Big.
it's sad to say, but sometimes the very best call is the old pocket call.
100%.
It just for a fact is sometimes. So
If you're in
lots
the right
more fun.
spot, you're
And
all
if you're calling in a little subpar, you're conscientious about it. No big deal if there's a bunch of people calling. I don't think. Do you?
In Arkansas, in the public timber, I want if I'm hunting with 8 people, I want every one of them to be
much
blowing their duck
shatter as
call.
possible. That's right.
Oh wow, kicking water and all
It's
that.
just so
That's
fun.
right.
So are
It
you looking
is.
for bands when they're coming down?
No. I mean, no. If my dog picks up, my dog picked up a band the very last day of season. Good job, Kate. But I'll find a band when I pick them up. I'm not picking out bands. I'm picking out greenheads.
Well, see, when you have the dog, Bobby, that's why we like to have the dogs. Dog brings in a couple ducks and she's distributing them back out. Here's your greenhead you shot. And
Without a leg.
Yes, right.
I will say that. Yeah, I mean, my buddies know, and I know. I mean, because in Arkansas, you can't tell people no, they can't hunt with you. So if someone says, I'm hunting here, and you say, I'm hunting here, everyone's hunting. So me and my buddies, we have an understanding. I don't want a band that I didn't shoot, and they don't want a band they didn't shoot. So if you tell me you shot a band and my dog picked it up, I'm going to hand you it by the foot, and we're not going to say a word. Nobody needs to know. We're not going to draw straws. Here's your band.
How about that? Well, let me ask you this. So I want to understand. So, and there's probably guys in our audience that need to know this. So if you're in public land and y'all are working and there's birds circling, if you're calling the shot, are you going to let some part of that flock start to land and you're shooting them going up and coming down, or how does that work? What's ideal?
Yeah, you want to shoot wet ducks always. Let them get their feet wet. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're jumping them back up.
Yep, that's right.
Takes them longer to get out of there that
Boy,
way.
Bobby
too.
ain't gonna last long up there with you. I'm gonna tell you right now. He's gonna get kicked out of club.
That's right. Let them take the elevator down and shoot them with their feet wet.
Okay.
How about that? She's taught you more than you knew
Well,
already.
I'm
Bob.
just,
I've got a question. What's your take on mud motors? versus outboards or jet drives or something like that?
I will say this. I have access to 2 of them, and I use them often. My dad has 2 at the camp, and I run a 4-stroke on my boat. But that being said, Arkansas duck hunt would be a lot better place without them. But if your neighbor's using them and everyone's using them to get to where they want to hunt, it's an equalizer. Why would you not use them? But it would be better if no one had them. They're loud. They're a nuisance. I mean, it's...
Well, they get to ducks. I mean, one of the things that research is proving now is that all great duck hunting areas need some kind of rest area for this, that you don't bother at all. And what you're telling me is more places that they can get to everywhere with them, then we have less rest areas for our ducks too. Especially mindful something pounded like public hunting, that you have somewhere adjacent to where you're hunting that gives them a rest area, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're getting places you've never been able to get before with a boat. I mean, it's just, it changes everything. But do I use them? Yes. Would I be okay if the state outlawed them? Also, yes.
What kind of outboard do you run?
I have a 70 Yamaha.
Just wondering.
I have no more rapid fire questions left.
Sorry.
Y'all
Did I
have
ruin your
ruined
rapid fire?
Every one of them.
Was the J framing cut down on there?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
But it's all right. It's all right.
You need to get away
We're
from
all
the
learning.
obvious
We're all
questions.
learning about Maggie. That's all that matters.
That's right.
So let's turn the page to turkeys now. How did your passion for turkeys get started?
Well, being from East Arkansas, there were no turkeys growing up. You know, there were a few in Crowley's Ridge when I was a little bitty girl, and I was really young. But that population has really just gone downhill throughout the duration of my life. So we didn't really have them to hunt. But I was 15. I was in ag class. Those were my only extracurriculars in school. I was all in ag classes. And I was telling the boys in ag, man, I'd really like to kill a turkey. And there was a kid, and he said, hey, my papaw, he's got like a Christmas tree farm, and he saw one out there a couple years ago. You think we can go out there and try to kill one? And I was like, sure. We'd never killed turkeys before. So being duck hunting kids, I mean, I'm the only one that can drive. In Arkansas, you can get a driver's permit at 15. So I'm picking up my turkey hunting partners. None of us have no idea what's going on. And I have, 3 boys in the truck with me. We're duck hunting kids. So we all get out our turkey calls, and we call simultaneously over a spread.
The flock approach.
The flock approach. It was definitely a sin, but that we didn't know any better. But we tried to teach ourselves. And by the time I was about to graduate high school, I had a girlfriend of mine. She was a married woman. She's in her 30s, just a great mentor and friend. And she said, hey, are you still trying to kill a turkey and try to learn how to do it? And I was like, yeah, but there are none. I mean, I'll go all season, not even hear one go. And she's like, yeah, because there are none where you live. And she's like, come here. So I went to Springfield, Missouri with her and her husband, and I killed my first turkey with them. And I got bit, and I said,
Just set her on fire, too.
That's right.
I tell you what, it'll get you.
So I like to kill them. Teach me how to be a turkey killer now. Teach me how to hunt. And so they taught me how to turkey hunt.
If you think the guys take a backseat tour in duck hunting, you should see the pictures from the spring.
I love turkey
She
hunting.
is into it. Yep.
And
and she's not a tag and release person. It doesn't look like either.
The traveling has to be fun
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Going to getting a burger at a little place.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't done it in a long time, but
just seeing the sights.
go up north after our season's closed. It's like Bob Dixon used to always say, hey, it's like getting to go back in time. That magic time of year. We're sad. It's over. You get to go back in time. Everybody ought to try to find somewhere, not just to go on a trip away from home, but further north in like May or something if you're in the South.
Oh,
It is so special.
I need to try it.
What's
I
your
really
favorite
hadn't
state to go
ventured
to?
out.
I'm sorry?
What's your favorite state to hunt?
Turkey hunt?
Turkey hunt. Yeah.
Oh, but man, that's hard to say. California's magical.
It is
Napa
magical.
I
Valley
did not expect that.
is absolutely magical. I love Maine. Maine is gorgeous. Florida's real special to me because it's just the kickoff every year. I can't pick a favorite.
I bet you're working on the South Florida that's early March, so you can start even before the rest of the state. I bet.
Absolutely. I always start in South Florida. I won't next year. I might start in Hawaii next year, but
Wow, when does that start? I hadn't thought about that one.
it opens the 1st of March.
Okay.
Wow.
I think it's the first.
Actually, we can
Public
go.
hunting. That's
Let's
right.
go.
Yeah, Bobby.
Load up.
Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
Fill up the pickup and go.
There we go.
Yeah.
That sounds like that'd be a fun hunt.
Evidently, too, speaking of on into the summer, evidently they're, from what we hear, and, we have a lot of biologists on here, they're doing quite well in Canada now, too.
Their beards freeze off up there, don't they?
Bobby can, yeah.
Well, there's a lot
They
of
got mustaches up there, not beards.
That's right.
there's a lot of Canada that's like further south than
Oh, it
New
is.
York.
Yeah,
And
then
so-
Maine, a lot further south
Yeah,
than Maine.
Maine.
They're doing really well in Maine, too.
So
So what about turkey hunting? What captured you? The calling, the intimacy of being kind of one-on-one, calling the bird in?
The intimacy it is so much different because duck hunting is a social sport, and that's part of the reason I love it. But I mean, it's go go go. It's your whole crew and your dog, and it's loud. And turkeys is so peaceful. It's just like the world stops turning when you're turkey hunting, and it's independent. And I love that I can be by myself in the woods, and I can't get mad at anybody else. It's on me, But just experiencing that one-on-one. It changed everything for me.
That's like a yin and yang thing for
It
her.
really
Growing up,
is.
duck
It's-
hunting
it's
and the
a,
loud and the public hunting all the time and arguing and fights and all that stuff, and then describing what it means to her for turkey hunting. What a great counterbalance for your two loves.
Bro, the daily bag limit in Hawaii on turkeys is guess what?
5.
No,
3.
3, yeah.
In a day.
But that's the
Easterns?
yearly limit too.
No,
though.
yeah, but I mean, it's still you can kill all 3.
Well,
in a
there's
day.
unfortunately, I guess it's okay, but there's quite a few states that what if the limit's 2, you can kill them both in one day, or 3, all 3 in one day. So
I mean, like it's got more than Arkansas apparently.
Yeah, but I love to travel and turkey hunt, but my rule personally is I like to leave some for seed. I'll kill one if I have. I don't care how many tags I have. I kill one and I'll move on.
Well, good for you.
Thanks.
That is a good attitude.
That is.
Lanny
You
does-
need to
you
adopt
need
this
to
attitude.
adopt
You
that
need to adopt this attitude.
now you want to see one? If we could get video, actually, they won't let us. Him and Lanny turkey hunt together. It would be a lot like what you remember from the public duck hunt fights.
yeah,
Oh,
we love-
no.
It would be a cartoon episode.
nothing peaceful about that.
It's really fun though.
The comic book Spy versus Spy. If y'all remember that would be.
But see,
We're not that bad.
see,
Oh,
he
y'all are
cracked
pretty-
a
y'all are
rib
pretty
on me
bad.
one time.
Just
So
one.
he's-
It was just one.
He's got these big long arms, that elbows, and they'll knock you in the dark and take your breath out of you, and then
Now,
he'll
if
be
we set
15
the
yards ahead
record
of you.
straight, we need to set the record straight here. Like, I'm the one that's got gunpowder residue all over my body from you shooting.
It wasn't that close.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty intense rivalry, I'll say.
Yeah.
but it's all in fun. We have a great time.
Best friends and best foes. I will say this on him real quick, not to take thunder away from her, because
Yes.
this is her
Here we go
her
on
night,
off
her
an iron
day.
turkey story.
But it was later in the season, and Bobby had actually just killed another turkey. He's having a good season, but Lanny had not killed a turkey yet, and he was getting, he loves it like us too, and he's like, eh. So we're going to take Bobby, and I knew where there had been some gobbling on the lower end of the place that Lanny loves to go to.
I like going there.
Yep. And so
I won't tell you where it
we
is,
got
but I
there,
like going
and
there.
they had swapped to the other side of an old creek run that was full of water. We had to wait it. Well, we got to them, and there was a couple, 2 or 3, 4 2-year-olds that were just smoking hot. And we'd wait up to our chest to get there, and got over there, and there's Lanny kind of sitting in front, and Bobby's over to his side a little bit, but then I'm back behind them calling. And here they came. I mean, it was late in the season. There was no hens around. They were smoking hot. It wasn't like 5 minutes, and I could see a little strutting through the stuff and a little boom. And I jumped up and ran out there. I say this, at first I didn't because they didn't, and I figured the others were just still standing there. They were respectful. But then I heard a turkey putt and leave, and I get up and go out there, and I get to the turkey first, and I turn around, there's Bobby and Lanny. I was like, give me 5, Lanny. And it's just deadpan, nothing, no response. Doesn't.
He got his feelings hurt.
And I said, Bobby, you shot the turkey out from under Lanny? Yeah, I shot him. And I said, and Lanny's just sitting there going, and I said, and I'll never forget this, what the famous phrase he said. I said, don't you feel bad at all? He goes, no, not at all.
That is the hunt that started the rivalry.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he didn't.
That is the one that
Come
started.
on, Bobby, don't you feel bad? Nope, not at all.
Yeah, it's fun.
And he was just beaming from ear to ear. I was like, wow.
We enjoy it.
Everything's-
That's for sure. And
what's that?
we enjoy the rivalry just as much as the hunt, I would say.
Everything's fair in love and war.
Now we're not dangerous. Don't get us
No.
wrong. I mean, I do have some powder burns on me, but
Yeah,
They have a lot. They have a
it's
lot.
just powder.
Hey, they have a lot of fun. Is the point of the story.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so let's get back.
You probably see a lot of that.
Oh,
What
yeah.
about your dad? Is he into turkey hunting as much as you?
So being from East Arkansas, also being a dirt hauler, he never got to turkey hunt.
Oh, poor guy.
So this year, I've told my daddy, I'm like, I'd like to show you this part of my life that I love so much. But, he's always just working. And so finally this year I was like, hey, I'm into him. I found some, and I really think if you came out here, I could get you on one. And he's like, I don't want to shoot one. He's like, I don't know anything about it. I want to learn more about it, but I kind of would like to see you shoot one. And I was like, well, either way, come hang out with me. So I'd been gone from home for like 2 months at this point. And he flew out to hang out with me. And he flew into Maryland. And I had a spot in Maryland, and I was like, man, I don't know. Turkey's kind of changing up here. It's getting a little later, and it's not the same than when I invited you a week ago. So let's go down south. So we drove over to Virginia, the two of us, and the first spot he told me to ask permission on. He's like, that looks like turkeys. I'm like, well, dang, okay, Mr. Turkey Hunter, sure.
Yeah.
I knocked on the door and tried to get permission, and saw the guy pull out of the driveway from the other driveway and said, oh, hey, let's run him down. Hey, my name is Maggie. I'd like to kill one of your turkeys. And he's like, sure, knock yourself out. And so it was in the mountains. It was really hot. But I went in there, and my dad's like, hey, I'll let you just check the place out. And, I'm going to go to the gas station and get you a Gatorade. I said, all right, cool. Well, he went to the gas station, and I FaceTimed him about 15 minutes later. I said, I got mine. Come pick me back up.
Oh, you're a lot like Bobby.
Yeah. Y'all do need to hunt together.
I got mine.
Y'all might get along great.
Yeah. Wow. So do you hunt by yourself a lot?
I prefer to, unless I'm with like a great turkey hunter. But I mean, I'll take women. If you're worse than me and you're a woman, I'd love to teach girls turkey hunting. But like awesome. if I've got a male friend of mine that I'm going with, I'd like him to be better than me, or I'll go alone.
Yeah. So my daughter's living in Tennessee, and she's been hunting some of these public areas around there, and I worry about her so much being by herself hunting. Do you take extra precautions, or what advice would you give other ladies?
I'll be honest, as a girl, I hunt a lot. I'm a big advocate for public land, but turkey hunting, if I see one, I'll try to get permission. Because as a girl, I'll get permission over boys any day of the week.
Every time.
So you're hunting private land in that scenario.
I try to. I love public land. I think it's a gift. But being a girl walking around in the woods, it's different than a boat. If I'm duck hunting by myself, okay, I got a boat. I know where I'm at. I'm close to home. I know everyone there. I got the game warden's phone number. It's everyone knows me back home duck hunting. But public land, 16 hours away from home, that's a slippery slope. And so I try to eliminate as many encounters with men with guns in the woods as possible. So if I find some turkeys on public, on private, I'll try to get permission on them. And if not, I'll go to public. But
I think I believe what you're saying, because I'll tell you this real quick about my daughter. Jessie was in Tennessee, and she was given permission to go to a place, and it was maybe 100 acres somewhere, and she was looking at it on Onyx, and she somehow got it upside down and went on the wrong side of the road.
Oh no.
And so she was somewhere she didn't have permission, and she's in there yelping, and she said all of a sudden she hears a four-wheeler come flying in there, and there's a guy, and he's looking around, and she realizes I must be in the wrong spot. So she kind of walks out, and the guy at first wants to kind of be ugly about it, and then he realizes she's a young lady there trying to hunt, and he's like, oh my gosh. He ends up giving her permission to finish the hunt and come back later.
That's awesome.
That would have never happened to Lanny.
Probably would
or
have
Bobby, or Dudley, or me.
Yeah. I think you probably do have the ability to knock on a door and get more permission than one of us.
Sometimes it's a game. Like if I've got some of my guy friends with me that I hunt with, they'll be like, all right, Baggy, like there's 4 of us out west. Let's see how many houses you can get, how many yeses. And sometimes I say yes. Some people, it's scary sometimes. I've gotten some ugly no's. I've gotten some terribly ugly no's and some dog cussings too. So it's a blessing. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's fun.
Dudley, you got a question?
No, I'm trying to, in my mind, think about how I can look more like a woman so I can get more permission.
Hey, it's just me.
If y'all don't think it's important to Dudley to have one more spot to hunt.
That's always funny. Like my kids will say like, Mom, and I'll say, yeah. And I never can fool them.
No.
So looking through your social media, it looks like you're pretty you're paying attention to how much you call on turkeys. I've seen some of your posts where you talk about all I did was cluck, and so can you speak to that a little bit? Have you learned the hard way, or what's going through your mind there?
I will say this: I had an exceptional turkey hunting mentor. I had a friend of mine, and he grew up hunting Mississippi, South Mississippi, and he was just a good turkey hunter. He'd been taught by an old school turkey hunter, and I've gone with his mentors now. And what they taught me, I took it to heart. I was just the Bible. What they told me, I believed it. And so, it's just I try to call at them as least as possible and sneak around on them. I like to go in light. I like to have me a yelper in my mouth and my shotgun. And if I can, that's the only way I like to get it done. So.
Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Lanny is the exact opposite.
Oh, whatever. That's exactly what I do.
He yelps so loud, so much.
He's the one that calls too much.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We may have to break up a fight in the studio just for bringing up the topic.
Bobby cannot stand for a turkey to gobble at somebody else.
Yeah, that does hurt my
He will cut right on top of you and be like, there.
And then I have the mindset, if I yelp and he doesn't gobble, that maybe he didn't hear it. I need to do that again. Of
course.
So,
No, I'm very conservative with my yelping. So every time I yelp, he knows where I'm at. And I don't want to give him any more reason to think I'm not a turkey. So, I like to slip in as close as I can. A lot of times if I'm hunting hills and stuff, I'll use that to my advantage. Just try to get as close as I can. Sit down, get quiet, yelp, scratch a little bit, and try to kill them if I can.
Scratching in the leaves.
So
it works.
Would you have any advice for young ladies that want to learn turkey hunting or duck hunting for that matter? But have you got any advice, anything that you would tell a young lady that's different than what maybe a young boy?
I think a young lady that's different than a boy, the information I would tell her is, all my life I was told, oh, wow, I'm so impressed. You hunt like a boy. That's not really the standard. There's lots of men that have no idea what they're doing. So you don't need a young boy to teach you how to turkey hunt. You need to find an old man or old woman, find a mentor, and don't be so caught up in hunting like a boy. Just try to be a good hunter. You can be not good for a girl. You can just be good in general. And I think that's a great aspect. That's a great goal to aspire to have. But I've learned more from old timers than I have from any YouTube video ever. And I love YouTube videos, and I put out instructional stuff all the time myself. But that being said, being taught by somebody that is willing to help you, that is the most valuable thing you could ever have access to. And there's so many people willing to help.
Mm-hmm. I bet there's a lot of young people that would like to learn or like to go, but maybe don't have somebody in their lives that could take them.
Yeah. Oh, you wish for them. That's again, same thing makes my heart kind of sad is like we talked about duck hunting, not having access to somebody. It's kind of neat though, why I've listened to her stories about, duck hunting, and she grew up with that, and it is what it is, especially, it's really not a sport of solitude, not much. But I think what I was getting at, it reminded me a lot of mistakes are made by, let's call it, where it's young boys, maybe, that's categorizing, or maybe it's not that, but you're worried about what everybody thinks is what I'm getting at. And you make a lot of mistakes, and you do things you even shouldn't do because you're so worried about what people think. And that's something you should park at somewhere else when you go hunting. Mm-hmm. And so what she's saying is when she goes by herself and there's nobody else around, it doesn't matter if you don't call that much, and she has a style of just being kind of one with the woods and there's very little calling. Guess what? I think it's really smart because she's leaving a light footprint, because a lot of the wise ones I knew, they would never call any more than they absolutely had to.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I think about those guys at Bent Creek.
I know exactly.
The butcher blocks. Yeah, all of those guys.
Yeah.
Man, they had to make a living out of the same spot. And this is in the southeast in Alabama, taking people every day of the season in the same general area.
Wow.
And be successful. So let me tell you something. It was a miracle for them to call much at all or disturb it much at all. And that's just smart. And it just seems like when you hunt with someone else, like you said, Bobby, you're calling, you want them to hear you calling, he gobbled at him, I'm going to make him gobble at me. And you make a lot of mistakes that way. So lesson learned, turkey hunting is the coolest though, because it is one-on-one combat. Like nothing else, possibly elk hunting, but not quite.
Turkey hunting, a one-man game. Isn't that a book?
It is fun with somebody else, though.
It's so much fun.
It is fun.
Every spring, I'm like, I got to have both. I can't make it. I love more than anything going with people and calling for them and all that. But every now and then I've got to have that one-on-one combat too.
And to your point, 2 hens sound better than 1.
Yeah, and have you ever noticed how, 2 of you sitting there, maybe you're sitting, say you're 20 yards apart, one person will end up seeing something the other person didn't
Oh, gosh.
never saw us.
It's crazy how many times the person in the back actually has the first shot at a turkey that they're calling.
They always show up from where
crazy.
they're going to. That's right.
The Ferminator is the industry's most versatile piece of food plot equipment, allowing plotters to do every step of the process, working the soil, adding seed and soil supplements, and compacting. From start to finish with a single implement. It's hassle-free by design. Set it for the seed size and simply drive the tractor, and the Ferminator does the rest. Check it out at theferminator.com.
Hey guys, Dudley from Gamekeepers here. I want to tell you about the all-new Gunner Dog Bowl. It's designed for home and built for travel. It's customizable, leak-resistant, light on weight, solid on durability, and rust-proof. Like other Gunner products, they're made in Nashville and designed for everywhere.
Nosler's known for their bullets, and now they're making suppressors. Nosler suppressors are made for hunting. Adding a Nosler suppressor to your rifle will make you a quieter, more accurate, and more effective hunter. Protect your hearing and disturb less game with a Nosler suppressor. The time to hunt quiet is now. Learn more at nosler.com.
Well, the way you talk about duck hunt, it is so much fun because you're usually there with a bunch of your buddies. Now, I haven't experienced being somewhere and having other people show up and having to share the hole with them. That seems like that would be a little bit different. Not knowing them, but you're just having to hope that they're going to be safe and they're going to, everybody's going to abide by the same when to shoot, because that could get frustrating.
It's frustrating and scary. And if we're going someplace and there's if I'm in my own boat, let me rephrase that. If I'm in my own boat and we have got people coming on us, I'm leaving. If I've got Kate, I don't want someone shooting over my dog that I don't know. If there's 40 people in a duck hole, how much good can you really do with 40 people in a duck hole? There's not much, And
wow,
it happens all the time. It happened opening weekend last year. The boys I was with, I try not to hold run at all. That's very dangerous. I'll come in, I'll put in with my dog and our decoys, whatever we need. But we had a boy that got the hole, and our group was so excited. We all get in, and it's a big group already. There's 15 of us hunting in there, which is too many already. It was a big hole. But we've got 3 other boats to pull up. Hey, man, we've hunted this place. This is the only place in Arkansas we know, and we'd really like to, hunt here. And at this point, I usually say, like, hey, man, if you need a pin of somewhere else to go, I'll drop it to you right now. I'll tell you how to get there. If you would like another place that's safer for everyone. And they're like, man, no, we like how they do it in here, so we'll just watch. And it's dangerous. It's a bad idea. I don't like to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Mm. So do any public places have any kind of protocol or law, like one person per hole or location and first come, first serve at all? Anywhere you know of?
In Arkansas, you can't tell someone else to leave
public
land.
Yeah, I guess not.
So, I mean, it's just...
For safety's sake. Wow.
I bet there's a lot of arguments in those woods and those moors.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I mean, nobody wants to hear that motor coming through the woods.
There's people making a living at those places, a lot of them. And there's people that hunt there all the time and locals and stuff. So I'm telling you, I bet you if you buck the code of honor very much, something happens to you.
Technically, you can't guide on public land in Arkansas.
You can't? You used to could.
You used to could. I think there's one man that has the right to still today. So I don't know that full story, but I think he fought the state and won. But he's the only one that can get by with it today.
Wow, I didn't know that you couldn't do it anymore because a lot of people used to.
Laney, what do we need to be asking her? Look over there at Lanny. He's deep in thought.
I'm trying to get my tags for Hawaii over here, bro.
So he keeps the computer all the time.
Maggie, I want to know, you're big in the Arkansas timber thing. Where are some other locations you've duck hunted that was beautiful and fun to you?
Wow, North Dakota was so much fun. I got to go with my dad there. Okay. I was on a trip with ProPlan actually, because Kate, she works for ProPlan.
Okay.
Yeah, and we got to go up there, and Daddy got to come with me, and that was so cool because he had never seen a duck lie on dry ground, and so it was so special to him because he was like, "Whoa, where's the water? What's going on?" And it was really cool, and Kate loved it, so that was beautiful. Montana is a beautiful place. I love to duck hunt there. Kansas, beautiful. Oklahoma's beautiful.
Oklahoma's got some ducks now. I'm going to tell you.
They do.
I'm telling you. I mean,
It seems
don't
like
tell nobody else.
honestly, it just seems like the further west you go, the more healthy ducks are in duck hunting and duck populations and nest success and everything. I don't know.
less competition too. All the kids that load up and try to come to Arkansas duck hunt. I'm a kid from Arkansas. I'd go to Oklahoma in a heartbeat. I mean, it's way less competition, a lot more ducks.
Well, it's also it's crazy how those ducks have adapted to all those big fields and feeding and actually doing better because there's a lot of dry feed that stays good all winter as opposed to all our flooded stuff here in the Mississippi Flyway. And I know they do it. They do it in Arkansas, but it doesn't seem, for what I've experienced, nearly the propensity for dry field feeding in ducks here like it is. They've adapted in that central flyway, and I think they're just healthier because of it. Because when we went, it was just miles and miles and miles of not even a tree, not any water, nothing, just fields, and there were ducks everywhere.
Maggie, do you know the number one state for duck kills? It surprised us. We learned this a couple of weeks ago.
Someone told me the state for number one mallard kills was California. Is that true?
Number one, everything.
Number one, everything.
Yeah. That's what we need to be telling
110
people
day
to go.
season, seven.
Yeah, so I think Arkansas was like third or fourth.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I think I'll stick with Mississippi instead of California or Arkansas.
But isn't that crazy that not only you would think it's such a huge state, our mind doesn't comprehend it over here in Mississippi, but to think you think of California, well, they're like anti-hunting everything out there. That's not the case. A huge part of that state are very
lots of rural
ag,
out there.
rural, outdoor lifestyle people, great hunting and great wildlife. Yep.
Yeah, I was out there turkeying like Maggie was talking about, and just beautiful ground, healthy critters, and great people.
Maggie, what should we be asking you?
Boy, I don't know. I mean,
what's interesting about you we hadn't talked about?
I don't know if this is a little bit different than what the Gamekeepers podcast would talk about, but this is a little neat thing. I talked about my little trivia question. This kind of relates to that. In 2019, I was a Miss Arkansas Teen USA, and I was the first Miss Arkansas Teen USA to have the platform of female involvement in duck hunting. So,
How about that?
I spent my year trying to convince more girls to duck hunt.
So in between the duck hunting, you were doing pageants and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have a camouflage dress?
I did not. I get that question all the time. I did not, but I'm retired since from pageantry. But yeah,
I mean, this is when be yourself works, and it worked for you, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
A million times, I made the note about 10 minutes ago. I make notes when people are talking, and I wrote, what do you think I wrote for you to say what you're great at?
Yeah, she's
She is a great advocate, especially for the ladies, but all of us.
Thank you.
Advocate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you're dead on the mentorship too, because it is hugely important to everybody getting in the sport.
I was so lucky to have a dad. I mean, I'm a fourth generation Arkansas public timber hunter. My dad's generation was the first one not to have a son, but his involvement in my life has changed the trajectory of my life, changed my career.
Yes.
And I tell my dad this all the time. I'm like, did you know that more girls duck hunt because of you? And he's like, that's not true, but it is true, because if he would never taken me, I would have never taken so many more girls.
That's right.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, it is so important.
It is. The other thing's really cool to say. I remember, man, this is like 25 or 30 years ago, but I was listening to some tapes on being a dad and it was called Riding for the Brand, actually, but it was about being the leader in the family and all. But it's a pretty famous psychologist guy. To cut to the chase, he said the most important and critical relationship in any family dynamic is the dad and the daughter.
Yeah.
Yep. And I won't get into the details of what it could or couldn't mean or whatever, but that's how important that is to the whole family dynamic. And obviously mom and dad and all that stuff too need to make that work. But beyond that's so critical and so important to the whole rest of the family and her life especially to have. So, I hate to say that for people that don't have that relationship. I don't mean it to shine, but it's to shine a light on, look what happens when someone does have that kind of relationship. Hats off to him.
Hats off to him.
There you go.
Yep, big time.
Well, so look, the beauty pageant thing. You talk about all these hunters lined up at a boat ramp and all the competition. I bet the girls. I bet that was pretty rough in and of itself.
You talk about backstage at Miss Teen USA, and the girls are, first of all, talking about the way you talk. And second of all, you got a girl advocating for PETA, talking about how much she loves animals. And I'm like, well, I love animals more than you.
I love them more than you do. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Yep. There we go.
I'm a true conservationist.
That's right. I mean, so there's a lot of, it was a neat deal to be a part of. It was a fun year. It was so different than anything I've ever experienced, but.
Yeah, if anything, I bet you learned a lot about people,
I've learned the ways of the world, and I learned that the world is so much bigger than the Southeast.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. But there's no place like home.
There's no place like home. Yep.
That's right.
What was your talent?
So the Miss Universe organization is not a talent competition. There's no talent
I feel so.
involved.
Say, would you have blown a duck call, maybe?
Absolutely, I would have.
There you go.
Absolutely, but no, that's Miss America. Those girls, they have talent, but not Miss USA.
I would have loved to have seen some footage from that, just like David Hawley on Letterman blowing a turkey call. Yeah, that would have been fantastic.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, well, you've had an interesting life.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where you go from here.
Yeah.
Well, she's got a sense
going
of
turkey hunting
yeah,
in
but she's
Hawaii.
got such a strong she's got such a strong sense of the uniqueness of her platform that I just appreciate the fact that you're not doing it so selfishly. I mean, you're enjoying hunting and everything too, but she is so conscious of being a good influence, helping call people to the right things in the right direction. Giving back to the resource. And so
that's wise for
yes,
for
She's
someone.
a
Absolutely.
gamekeeper, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can, from sitting in my position, I've made so many. How did I learn all this stuff? I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but I've screwed up so much stuff. It will teach you.
Yep.
So when you're only worried about your own self all the time, you're going to end up in a really lonely place.
So it sounds like your dad needs a lot of credit.
He
here
does.
for-
Yeah, he
does.
He's done a good job.
My dad deserves all the credit in the world. He is the best man I know for sure. I think all girl dads. That's the highest calling upon your life God could have, is being a girl dad. Truly, that's just a huge impact you have on the world.
Bobby's gonna start crying. I'm a girl
Yeah.
dad too now. Don't get me wrong.
Seriously, girl dads are salt of the earth.
I'm fixing to have to take swing dancing lessons. I don't even know what swing dancing is.
Well, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn. Yep.
Manny, do you know what swing dancing is?
I don't.
Maybe we should all go take
Yeah, let's
lessons
go.
together.
Count me out.
The things
I'm
you
too
do
old
for your
for it.
daughters, though.
Yep.
It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, and also teaching people not just that girls hunt. I think that's so cool too. And take matters in your own hands a little bit too.
That's
Not
right.
just wait on the guys to take you and whatever, but also the message and people watch the stuff you do. And the story about giving the dog to her and all, just handling yourself with a big heart.
Well, thank you, Toxie.
Yeah, that's a big deal, and
Thank
you
you.
always exhibit that. And like we said, Dudley talked about it before the podcast. We were bringing up you were coming, and I was just not to put him on the spot. He said, "Man, she's just got she's young, she's whatever, popular and all, but she's got an old soul to her that's so cool." And I think
No doubt.
that's part of having a big heart. People use that term, an old soul with a little wisdom.
yeah. Yeah, they do.
Thank
Yep.
you, Toxie. That means a lot to me.
Mike, you got a question,
Very
or
cool.
should we go to
Very cool.
let her ask us a trivia?
I think we go to the trivia.
Yeah.
So we gave you the option to bring, if you can stump us, you
she
could
had one.
potentially win a prize.
We busted it already.
I don't
remember?
know that she can stump us, but Mac, who would we? Give us the details here.
Today's trivia is brought to you by Sheffield Financial. Embrace the gamekeeper lifestyle with Sheffield Financial. Rev up your habitat management efforts with power equipment financing. Dive into more details at sheffieldfinancial.com.
So regardless if we get this or not, right or not, Dustin King 7 wins a prize, and that prize is a knife sharpener from
What?
Workshark.
Look at this.
Oh, man.
That thing is really nice.
It must have been
Did
hidden.
that come out of Toxie's closet too?
No,
Yeah, that one didn't.
I wouldn't have
You
let that
wouldn't
one
have
get
wanted-
away.
That is a really good knife sharpener.
Can
Yeah.
you get another one?
Probably
Okay.
it could.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to-
I'll buy one.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, this is nice. You can set all the angles so
Hey, that
so you
work
can
sharp
repeat
stuff
the
is
angle
cool.
on the
It
other
really is.
side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Works very good.
Works very well.
Yep.
Get something
Good
shaving
prizes.
sharp with that.
So those are available at Tractor Supply. We met them at the Tractor Supply show, and the guy was listening to the podcast, and he sent one. So
I'm
Mac,
sure they outfit Bobby's garage fully.
Yeah, there's no.
Well, I
telling
don't
what
have
he's
any.
got.
I don't have any. My knives are so dull. I need one. But. All right, Mac. What else we got?
I think that's it. I think we're ready to hear the question.
Okay, so listen.
Wow.
If you stump us, this is
That's an
gamekeeper
OG.
field coat
Wow.
in your size.
Now I'm upset I won't be able to stump y'all because I know you. I won't be able to pull this one over on Bobby, but it's a good question.
We're ready.
Well, if it means stumping Bobby, we will remain silent and put the pressure on him.
Or if you want to just ask him a math question, that'll stump him every time.
Or
Yeah.
you get him to spell your last name, and he would
you're gonna
completely
win.
get it
Yeah,
wrong.
no calling Dudley because Dudley's the ideal Trivia Pursuit partner too.
Ooh.
He's got that scientific mind.
So if the goal is to stump y'all, no googling.
That's right.
I'm
no, Bobby's
he's on
on
Facebook.
Look, Bobby's on his own.
All right. Well,
Let's hear it.
You versus Bobby.
Yeah, I won't cheat.
I am now scratching my previous question, and it was a dang good one. But here's it.
Oh,
Go ahead and ask it. Let's just see if we would have known.
All right. Here's the practice round, not the real one.
Yeah.
What Arkansas beauty queen is known as the only person to hold all duck calling titles offered at the World Championship Duck Calling Contest, winning the Junior World Duck Calling Championship at age 12, the Women's World Championship 5 times, the World Duck Calling Championship twice, and the Champion of Champions World Duck Calling title in 1960.
Pat Peacock.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that wasn't it, so that doesn't count, Bobby.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No,
So,
but I think she sensed I
that's
knew
a good
that
one.
one.
yeah. But,
He did.
I was thinking about asking that question to you.
He loves.
Really?
He loves research.
He does his
He
research,
loves the
that's for
research
sure.
stuff.
All right, so what's question number 2?
all right. What is the name of the newly appointed commissioner to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission?
Try that one out, Bob. Eh?
Now that's not just for me. That's
No,
for everybody.
that's for you. I already said you're on your own.
I'm
Newly
gonna tell you.
appointed
I mean,
commissioner.
I would, I hate to, I don't want to blurt it out for you.
Mac looks like he's got it. That was
It's
almost
got to
there.
be somebody well known. I mean,
No, actually, not at all.
Okay.
We're definitely not going to get it there.
And
We've been set up on this one.
She's going to get a jacket.
Good move.
So why don't we do this? There's no way we know that question.
We got to have an
Mac,
answer.
we have a question for you, Mac.
Well, can we not
So,
know
wait,
what the
time out,
answer
time
to
out.
her question is?
Well,
So,
nobody's-
did she win or not?
Well, I
She
guess
won.
technically she won.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just
what's
want
the
to see you
answer?
admit it. Come on.
it was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, her campaign manager.
Oh, it was her Sarah's campaign manager.
Yes,
saying.
I'm
Okay.
not even sure if he has a background in wildlife, but he was her campaign manager for governor.
And what's his name?
I'm getting it to load right now. I have it saved.
Oh, wait. We're not supposed to be using Google. Hold on just a second.
I knew who he was.
Let's hope he's got a background in wildlife.
So I've got
Well-
I've got a pretty unique duck hunt I went on in Arkansas. I just remember
sure?
cuz
I forgot about
cuz
this.
and I cuz on a duck hunt is like a
That is
unicorn.
rare, yeah.
That's a unicorn. I was on one side of the blind was Governor Huckabee when he was governor, and the other side was Ted Nugent.
The news.
Okay, that's cool.
They were both in the duck blind together
That's
for 2 days.
Yeah.
wow.
That was just more joke telling and stuff than killing ducks. To be honest with you, it was crazy. Huckabee is one funny guy. I mean, he is hilarious to be around. Just so be it. I think it must have been Sarah's husband that had because I thought he said it was his. I'm not sure. I forgot, but I thought it was his daughter's husband that had the guide service in the lodge that we hunted out of. I'm not sure though. Anyway,
I thought hunting with Gail Camp and Jim Ronquist was cool, but man, I mean Ted Nugent and the
I'm
governor,
gonna
that's
say
pretty cool.
honestly, hunting with Ronquist would probably be cooler as a duck hunter.
I would love to.
But it was cool to be
Jimbo's
around
awesome.
them. Yes, it was pretty interesting just to say you did it. You know.
So look, we just went ahead and had a question for you. So let's let Mike ask this.
Okay.
All right. What country is credited for creating the golden retriever?
Kate, the dog laying at your feet. The dog that you love so
Bobby,
much.
when it's so
right.
cool. She's asleep, not emotional.
I'm so
when you
happy
said
that-
her name, her tail starts popping
That
like
is
that.
the first
didn't-
time y'all have used one of my questions.
Did
I'm
they-
so happy.
Did they originate in England?
If you went broader than England
Europe.
and said
They're
the
European.
United Kingdom,
Well, that is
Scottish,
Close
right
enough.
there.
Close enough.
we
She
could just
wins.
say it's so the golden retriever is a Scottish breed.
I almost said Scott.
And it was actually bred between it was a crossbreed between a flat-coated retriever and a Tweed Water Spaniel. And then there's a little bit of Labrador, Bloodhound, and Red Setter.
Oh, a little bloodhound in there.
That's crazy. I did not know any of that, Mike.
It's a beautiful dog.
Thank
gosh.
you.
Scotland Heritage in Scotland.
So the UK would have been a good.
The UK.
That would have worked.
I think it's close enough.
I like her strategy of just saying Europe because that
He's a European.
He said broader. Think broader.
I should have said a
It's
little
so cute.
broader.
Then Bobby said her name, and her tail starts wagging on the ground here.
Oh, she's smart. She's smart. That's one thing.
Well, they're listening. She's listening to everything. I think she's kind of disgusted with you right now.
Kate,
Missing the question.
Yeah, she's
being a
disappointed.
traitor. Oh.
Well, guys, they ought to go and follow at the Maggie Williams.
No doubt.
And they ought to go listen to your podcast at the Maggie Williams podcast.
Yes, very
It's a good
popular
one.
podcast.
And,
Does a great job interviewing people too.
Yeah, but we just hear a lot of great things. We're real proud of you.
Yeah.
And we just want to
Yeah.
put some wind under your wings. And
Yeah, we've
send
got
you out.
shout out to your sisters in Mossy Oak out there too. Y'all got a pretty cool thing going, the Grand Trifecta, and there's others too. But I know there's a
right.
couple in particular she's gotten real close with they're brand warriors, and good gracious, we're so proud of them.
That's right. Macy Watkins, Sydney Wells. We're all very proud to wear Bottomland.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dudley, we've got this. We're bringing back our
three
friends
great
at
ones there.
Springfield Armory are sponsoring the Rapid Fire game. They
Rapid
wanted to get back
Fire.
in it, but did we lose all
I
your
think
questions?
7 out of 11 are gone. So,
We can still do it.
do y'all want to do it?
Well, ask the 7. Ask the
Well, I mean,
11.
I didn't
the
sit
4.
here and mark
See,
all
I
of
did that
them
math.
off.
That
I
was
did that math.
pretty quick, Bobby.
He's on today.
I say, go ahead, Dudley.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm
We're going
ready.
to ask you a bunch of questions. Just answer them quick so we can get to know you better.
And this is brought to us
By Springfield
Springfield
Armory.
Armory, our buddies.
Yeah.
That's
Great
right.
pistols.
Yep.
And some rifles.
All right. So, tea, sweet or unsweet?
None. It stains your teeth.
Filet, ribeye, chicken, or fish?
Filet, medium rare.
Yamaha or Mercury?
Yamaha.
J-frame or cut down?
Cut down.
Favorite turkey subspecies other than Eastern?
Other than Eastern. Oh, man. All right. Miriam.
Favorite duck species other than mallard?
Mallard's the only duck.
Good answer.
Pick one for turkey. Diaphragm calls or everything else?
Diaphragm.
Snacks in the blind or in the field? Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Blind, boat, or tree?
Tree.
Pick a vacation. Beach, lake, river, or mountains?
Wherever there's turkeys.
Yeah.
Last but not least, girl dogs or boy dogs?
Girl dogs for life.
Girl power.
That was a good one.
Yep, we just call this one girl power all the way
Dudley.
around.
Good job, Dudley.
Good.
Back on the scene, baby.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've enjoyed getting to know you. This is awesome.
Thank you
sure.
for being here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you do for Mossy Oak.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. It's meant more to me than y'all will ever know. So
Oh,
thank you very much for
I just
having
got to
me.
say, y'all, you got to do one thing for us. You just go out there and keep being you. That's
Yeah,
all.
don't
That's all.
change a
Don't
thing.
change a
Don't change
thing.
a
That's
thing.
all we need
Thank you so much.
for sure.
So we're going to put this calling contest together?
Yes.
Probably not.
Yeah,
I don't have
I
time.
want to do
got-
that.
I got swing dance lessons. Why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Richie.
Boom.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast. And be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.